Howdy, everybody. I am back. Thank you very much for coming back with me after a very nice holiday season thus far. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, Kwanzaa, and such. As always, I am your host, Spencer Fannon. So thank you for coming back to Five Downs with Fannon. Um, I know everyone. This We're recording this on New Year's Eve, before the college football playoff, and I'm sure everyone is looking forward to turning the page on to 2026. I am looking forward to the college football playoff games. We've got four really good ones, the quarterfinal games, and a big time NFL game that we're going to discuss on this episode. So we'll do a quick history recap of why this show is called Five Downs with Fannon. Back in 1990, the Colorado Buffaloes were facing the Missouri Tigers in Columbia, and the referees accidentally gave Colorado a fifth down on a late fourth quarter drive in which the Colorado Buffaloes then scored a touchdown to take the lead and eventually win the game. They went on to split the national title with Georgia Tech. And fifth down has become the vernacular for that. And there you go. That's a history lesson. I mean, and stuff. And it's also, it kind of rhymes or it kind of flows. Five Downs with Fannon. Yeah. So, but quick recap of the last show, which was about the college football playoff first round games. And it was pretty much the same kind of show as this show is going to be. It's four college football games, and then we had an NFL game. The breakdown of those was I went 4-1 in my picks, and we are at 25-25. We are at 500, which I think is the first time. If I did these right, let's see, 19-21, 15-20, 11-14. So it's the first time since Halloween that I've been at or above 500. So that's a pretty good one. The picks were, yeah, we had the over in the Oklahoma and Alabama game. We had the one loss was I had over in the Miami and Texas A&M game. That went way under. Had Ole Miss covering the 17.5. Had James Madison staying within the three scores. So there you go. That was a late touchdown, so thank you for that. And then you had and then the NFL game was Packers Bears under 46.5. And I was actually at that game. I took my brother, his birthday Christmas present. Fantastic game, fantastic atmosphere. At least the final 3 minutes of regulation and then overtime was fantastic. Everything else was just really cold and hoarse and everything like that. But still a great time. Had a lot of fun and stuff. So really enjoyed that. But that's all the nonsense and stuff out of the way. Let's get right into the first couple games or the first game of this episode with first down. All right, first down, and we're going west and south from here, at least from Chicago. We're going to the Cotton Bowl for first down here. Rematch of the 2002 National Championship game. Now we got number 10 Miami facing number 2 Ohio State. Ohio State won that game 31-24 in double overtime. Mostly helped from a controversial pass interference call that extended the drive, as well as Willis McGahee getting his knee blown out, which still gives me chills because I remember watching that game and seeing that live. It was nasty. It's the fifth time that these two teams will match up. First time since 2012, in which Miami won 24-6 in Miami. So it's 2-2 the series record. So this is to advance to the championship series, sort of. If you're going by playoff baseball rules and such. Quick betting breakdown. Ohio State is a 9.5-point favorite. Over-under is set at 40.5. It's a big spread for the low total. I think mainly because of what Miami's offenses didn't do really last week in their last game against Texas A&M, only scoring 10 points. And you're going up against a better defense in Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State's probably got one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the country right there with Indiana. You could probably flip-flop those two at 1-2, depending on how you're feeling and stuff. I mean, star power is going to be out for this game for sure. I mean, Ohio State got Julian Sain at quarterback, Carson Beck for Miami. Wide receivers, you've got Jeremiah Smith, obviously, for Ohio State, and Malachi Toney for Miami. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I mean, both defenses are very good, actually. Miami's defense, especially their defensive line, is very, very good. It's certainly a top 10 unit in the country. It might be top 5 right there with Ohio State. Texas A&M had a really good one. and Indiana obviously. So it's like they're right in there. So it's going to be interesting. I think obviously whichever team is able to dominate the line of scrimmage is going to win this game and stuff. And I probably lean a little more toward Ohio State with this on that front. I think one because they're going to be healthier. They've been off. I think their Ohio State's run game has really come on the last couple weeks and such. And I don't know if I trust Carson Beck more. I than Julian Sain, even though Julian Sain is a freshman and Carson Beck is a senior. He's been around forever. I just don't trust Carson Beck. He's struggled in big games and stuff. Obviously, they won against Texas A&M, but it's like it wasn't because of him. It was because of the defense and stuff. As for the actual bet I'm making, I'm taking actually the over 40 and a half. I think that there will be enough points. I think it's going to be I could see this being like a 24-17. It's going to be a very tight. I'm going to sweat this a lot because of this game, but it's like, I think it's going to be just over that 40 and a half number. I just think that it's just too low. I think that there will be some points scored. I think that it's going to be like a 27, it could be 27-14, 24-17 type game. Relatively close, but I think Ohio State does win. But I think I'm taking the over 40 and a half in this. It's just too low. I think that teams will be able to put up at least some points. It's not going to be like 10-6 or whatever Texas A&M and Ohio State or Texas A&M and Miami was in the first round game. I think that there will be some points scored here. So that's first down. So we're instead of going further west, we're actually going east for second down. So let's get right to it. All right, second down, and as I said, we're heading east. We're heading to the Orange Bowl for second down. We've got number 5 Oregon facing number 4 Texas Tech on New Year's Day. First game on New Year's Day. This is gonna be a big matchup. It's gonna be a fun matchup. Surprisingly, this game features the only one that has the lower seed actually favored. Oregon is a 2.5 point favorite as of right now. The over/under is set at 51.5, and it's interesting because Texas Tech has been dominant all year long. I mean, they really have been. I mean, their offense has been outstanding. Defense has been really good. I mean, Jacob Rodriguez, their linebacker, he wasn't a Heisman finalist. I think he was 5th and stuff. He was certainly like top 6 or 7 and stuff. He has been. I think he won the Butkus Award. He's been fantastic. He's a turnover creating machine and everything. And the front 7 of Texas Tech is nasty. They've got dudes all across the front, their defensive line. They've got obviously Rodriguez as the linebacker, and this feels a little bit like a team kind of like Indiana, and Oregon lost to Indiana in the regular season at home and such. So it's like you might lean that way. I mean, obviously, this is the 4th meeting between these two teams. Oregon has won all 3 previous ones. Last meeting was in 2003. Oregon won 38-30 and such. It's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, Oregon they have a bit of a sour taste in their mouth. They beat James Madison, obviously, but they were dominating early and then allowed James Madison to kind of creep back into it and actually get within the 21 or 3 touchdown point spread. Well, thank you for that, James Madison, because I had that in my last show. But I think so. They're going to have a little bit of taste in there. They're going to have a bad taste in their mouth, and Dan Laney's going to have his team ready to go, and McGuire for Texas Tech is going to have his team ready to go. So I actually think this is going to be a defensive battle. I'm actually taking the under 51.5. I think both teams, because Oregon's defense is not to the same level as Texas Tech's, but it's still pretty solid. It's still a good unit. And I think that they will be motivated, obviously giving up 30-plus points to James Madison. I think that they're going to be motivated. I think they're going to come out flying. And I think it's going to go under. I think both teams are going to be kind of feeling each other out at the start. The defenses are going to be controlling it for the most part. I could see this being a 27-24, which actually would be really, really close, but something in that sense of maybe even a 24-21 type game. It's very close, tight knit. I think the points are going to be at a premium for this. I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. This might be my most anticipated game because it's kind of two teams. Oregon has been in the college football playoff obviously several years, and stuff. But this is obviously Texas Tech's first time. And I think both teams also want to prove that they belong here. Obviously, Oregon won their last game, but they got blown out in their first game last year against Ohio State, who went on to win the national title. So they want to prove that they belong here. Texas Tech wants to prove that they belong here because it's the first time they've been here. So I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. I can't wait for it. And I think points are going to be a premium, so that's why I'm taking the under at 51.5. So that's second down. So let's head to third down, and we're going to the granddaddy of them all. We're going out west for third down. All right, third down time, granddaddy of them all time. It's Rose Bowl time. We've got number 9 Alabama facing number 1 Indiana, which still seems weird to say. Sorry to all my Indiana friends. It really does. But yeah, I mean, it's Rose Bowl, January 1st, 4 p.m. Eastern kick. Going to be great theater and everything like that. Should be a really good game too. Quick betting breakdown. Indiana's a 7-point favorite. 48.5 is the total. This is the first time these two teams have met, at least as far as I can say. This is only the second time Indiana has been to the Rose Bowl, the first time since 1968. They're going for their first win and stuff. Alabama, Rose Bowl, let's see. Alabama has been in the Rose Bowl. They've been there 8 times. This will be 9 and such. I know the last time they were there, they lost to, I believe, they lost to Michigan. Let's see, I think they lost to Michigan in 2024. So that not the national championship game, but the semifinal game, and so that was Saban's last game as well. So I mean, this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, Alabama obviously coming off the win against Oklahoma, getting revenge for the regular season loss. Indiana still on the high of winning the Big Ten, being ranked number 1 and everything like that. So this is going to be a really interesting game. I think Alabama's defense has been okay, but their offense has struggled in the sense of like they just don't have much balance. It's really Ty Simpson, their receivers, and that's about it. They haven't really gotten a run game, and Indiana's defense is really, really good. They did lose a big-time player at the end of the championship game and stuff. He messed up his knee and stuff, so he's going to be out and everything. But I still think that defense – I'm looking at this number because obviously, it's a touchdown – I'm actually going to switch. I initially was going to go Alabama +7, but I'm going to go Indiana -7. I think Indiana – maybe I buy it down to 6.5 and stuff to stay inside the touchdown number. I probably actually would do that. I think I'm going to go -6.5. I'll buy a half a point and stuff there because I think I don't know if I trust Alabama's defense enough. I think Indiana's got a really good offense. Obviously, the question is going to be, can Indiana really handle the atmosphere and stuff? Can really both teams handle the atmosphere? Because I don't think either team has really had many players gone to this level. Obviously, Indiana not and stuff, but Alabama probably has some holdovers from that 2023 into 2014 and stuff before Kalen DeBoer got there. But I think Indiana, the defensive line, I think is going to be able to handle. It's going to be able to make Ty Simpson and Alabama one-dimensional. Now that might actually help in Alabama because their run game has not been great, and I think that their pass game is very solid. But I think Indiana's defense is going to be able to strangle Bernard Horton of Alabama. So I'm taking Indiana -6.5. So maybe now my Indiana friends who went there will celebrate with me and stuff. But I do think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. It's probably the second game of the 4 that I'm really, really interested to watch. I said second down Oregon, Texas Tech. I think is my most anticipated. This is probably number 2. And so because we've never seen it before, I'm really interested to see how Indiana handles the stage and everything like that. And I want to see if they can keep it going. I mean, let's see if they prove that they're there. I mean, they got to the College Football Playoff last year, lost to Notre Dame. This year, there's been one of their guys came out last year. They were just happy to be there. This year they knew they were going to be there or something to that effect. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I'm really anticipating this game. But yeah, I'm taking Indiana minus 6.5. Buy it down, get under that 7 number and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But now it's heading to the late night game on New Year's Day for the Sugar Bowl for fourth down. We're heading back east for it. Let's go. All right, fourth down, heading east. Like I said, from the Rose Bowl to the Sugar Bowl. New Year's Day, 8 p.m. Eastern, obviously down in New Orleans. We've got a rematch of a regular season game. We've got number 6 Ole Miss facing number 3 Georgia. Obviously, rematch of regular season. Georgia won 43-35 in mid-October at Georgia against Ole Miss. Now, that was obviously with Lane Kiffin and everything like that. A quick betting breakdown. Georgia is a 6.5-point favorite. Over/under is set at 55.5. This one is probably be a quick. I'm taking the under in this game. I think that both defenses are not great, but I think for some reason I just feel like that number is really high, and I think Georgia's going to be able to grind the ball down, grind the clock down, use their running game, and just keep the ball out of Trinidad Chamberlain's hands. And I also think that on the other side, Kewan Lacey for Ole Miss is going to be able to run the ball. So the clock is going to be moving in this game. I think it's going to be not a super low scoring game, but I could see it being, I don't know if both teams get to 30 points, I guess, is the main thing. I think it's going to be 27-24, 27-23, something in that range. Relatively close, maybe 31-24, something like that, which would be a sweat, but it's like, that would be the most. Maybe it's like a team just gets over that 30-point range. I trust Kirby Smart more than Golding right now, obviously because this is only his second game with this program as head coach. Kirby Smart obviously been at Georgia forever, so I just think it's much more likely that Georgia is able to strangle the clock down, run the clock down. They've obviously had the bye; they're going to be healthy and such like that. And I just feel like I trust Gunnar Stockton and such, and I trust the Georgia, certainly the Georgia offensive line more than probably any unit in this game, honestly. And stuff. So I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game. I use relatively because it still could be a 50 something 50 point total, something like that, which is a lot of points. But I think it goes under the 55.5 here. So. But that's the end of the college football slate, at least in this episode. We're going back out west again. We've been zigzagging all over this country for these games. We're going out west to Santa Clara for the NFL for fifth down. So let's hop on the plane from New Orleans to Santa Clara. Let's go. All right, just got off the plane in Santa Clara. Oh, that was a long flight. And we're seeing if it's a battle of the NFC for the NFC West and the NFC top seed. We got Seattle Seahawks facing San Francisco 49ers on Saturday, January 3rd at 8:00 Eastern. It's a rematch of week 1 in which San Francisco won in Seattle 17-13, so a really low scoring game back then. I think it's going to be somewhat different this year. This time around, I think. I think that the offense for San Francisco is on a insane heater right now. I think, they've scored 40 plus points in the last 2 games. Their defense obviously not great. It's okay, certainly not to the level that Seattle's defense is. Seattle's defense is really good. I do think that. Let's get to a quick betting breakdown. Seattle currently is a 1.5-point favorite. Over under is set at 49.5. I guess it comes down to the quarterbacks, really. I trust Brock Purdy more than I trust Sam Darnold here. I certainly trust Kyle Shanahan over offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, who his name escapes me. It is Clint Kubiak. Oh, I think former I'm with the 49ers. So 49ers coverage, but I still trust. I mean, obviously the biggest thing is going to be Kyle Shanahan's offense against Mike McDonald, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks' defense. I think that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch. Two really good play callers and everything like that. It would be interesting to see. I would guess George Kittle will probably be back. I'm not sure about Trent Williams, who got hurt on, I think, the first play of the game Sunday night against the Bears and everything like that. I also know that Seattle was missing their left tackle in last week's game, Cross. I'm not sure if he's going to be back or not for this game, though San Francisco's defensive line is not very good at creating pressure, so they might be able to get away with it anyway. But I'm going with the hot offense in this game. I'm going San Francisco money line because I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a close game, and I'd rather just go pick a winner than go with the spread here. Because I do think if they win, they're not going to lose by one or two. Like if they're going to lose, it's going to be like by three or something like that. I don't think so. I'd rather just pick the winner, pick a money line. So I'm taking San Francisco. That offense, I think, is just humming on all cylinders, and especially if they get George Kittle back. While Seattle's defense is really good, I don't know if they faced. I mean, when they played obviously the Rams a couple weeks ago and stuff, and they gave up quite a few. They gave up. Let's see, where's the NFL? Why won't you click? There you go. Week 16. Yeah, I mean, that Thursday night game against Los Angeles, they won in overtime, but they still gave up 37 points. So it's like you're going up against an offense that's as good or better than Los Angeles, and you gave up 37 to them. So I think I lean with the offense more. I think that San Francisco is going to be able to get points against Seattle's defense, and I don't know if it's going to be a true outscore one, but I think it will be a shootout in the sense. Obviously, Jackson Smith and Jigba for Seattle is insane. He's probably going to go off as well, but I think that the running game of Seattle is just not as good as San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson. So I'm going to lean the offense with San Francisco in this matchup, taking them on the money line to win. So, and I think NFC is going to go through Santa Clara, and San Francisco might not play a road game from week 17 until the Super Bowl, depending on if they win and stuff, which is just crazy because the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara this year. But there you go. That's fifth down. Those are the picks. Quick recap of the picks, I guess. Taking the over in Miami and Ohio State of 40.5. I'm taking the under in 51.5 in Oregon, Texas Tech. Taking Indiana minus 6.5. I'm buying a half point to get it down to 6.5. I'm taking the under 55.5 in Ole Miss versus Georgia. And I'm taking San Francisco money line. So we got to 500 last week after going 4-1 on the last show. We're 25-25 on the season. Let's see if we can get over 500 for the first time since Halloween and all that. Hopefully we do well, and we'll see you in the I guess we'll see you in the new year. This is thank you again for so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any games that you want me to talk about in the next episode and such. Should be a next episode is probably wild card weekend for the NFL, which is gonna be a lot of fun and stuff. But thanks again for watching. As always, I'm your host, Spencer Fannon. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz and stuff. But until next time, enjoy the football and have a wonderful new year. So see ya.